The embassy ship hung in space like a silver moon above Earth. Jiho pressed his hand against the viewing window and stared at his home planet below. The blue and green sphere looked peaceful from up here, but his stomach twisted with worry. Nothing about this first contact felt right. "Beautiful world," a voice said behind him. Jiho turned to see Ambassador Quillix approaching. The alien moved on 6 slender legs, its body swaying with each step. 2 large eyes sat on stalks above its head, both focused on Earth. Heavy, though. Very heavy, Jiho nodded. He had learned this word over the past 3 days. Heavy. The aliens used it constantly when talking about Earth. They seemed almost afraid of it. "We call it home," Jiho said simply. Quillix's eyes swiveled to look at him. "Yes. Remarkable that you survived there at all." Nari walked into the viewing chamber carrying a datapad. She looked tired. The xenobiologist had been working non-stop since they boarded the Coalition ship, trying to understand the aliens' biology. She stopped beside Jiho and whispered in Korean, "We need to talk." Privately, Jiho excused himself from Quillix and followed Nari into a side corridor. She glanced around to make sure no aliens were nearby, then pulled up images on her datapad. "Look at this," she said, showing him scans of Velrith anatomy. "Their bones are like bird bones, hollow, light. Their blood pressure is a fraction of ours. Jiho, these beings evolved on a world with barely 1/3 of Earth's gravity." "I know," Jiho said. "They told us their worlds are smaller than ours." "No, you don't understand." Nari's eyes were wide with concern. "Their entire bodies are designed for low gravity. Their organs, their muscles, their eyes. Everything. If they experience full Earth gravity without protection, it would be like us getting crushed under a truck." Jiho felt his worry deepen. "Have you told them this?" "I tried. They don't listen. They think their technology can handle it. Their gravity compensators, their exoskeletons. They keep saying they visited hundreds of worlds." Nari shook her head. "But Jiho, none of those worlds had gravity like Earth. We're the heaviest inhabited planet they've ever encountered." Before Jiho could respond, an announcement echoed through the ship in both the Coalition's common language and broken Korean. Commander Thane requested their presence in the main conference hall. The conference hall was massive, designed to hold representatives from dozens of species. Jiho and Nari sat in specially designed human chairs, heavier and stronger than the delicate furniture the aliens used. Around them, various Coalition members gathered. Some looked like Quillix. Others resembled floating jellyfish or walked on tentacles or had bodies Jiho couldn't even properly describe. Commander Thane stood at the center. He was Velrith like Quillix but larger and covered in what looked like military medals. His voice boomed through translators. "Humans of Earth, the Galactic Coalition has observed your world for 73 of your years. We have watched your progress with great interest. You have achieved spaceflight, peaceful global cooperation, and technological advancement. However, you remain a developing world by Coalition standards." Jiho clenched his fists under the table but said nothing. Let them talk, he thought. Let them think we're primitive. To join the Coalition, you must undergo standard assessment protocols. This includes a peaceful demonstration of military capability and the establishment of a Coalition garrison on your world. Thane's eyes fixed on Jiho. This is not optional. This is procedure. Every member world has accepted these terms. "With respect, Commander," Nari spoke up. "Every member world doesn't have Earth's gravitational pull. Our soldiers are the finest warriors in the galaxy," Thane interrupted, his tone sharp. "They have trained on hostile worlds in zero-gravity environments and in extreme conditions your kind cannot imagine. Your concern, while noted, is unnecessary." "Commander Thane," Jiho said carefully, "we're not questioning your soldiers' skill. We're worried about their safety. Our gravity is not like yours. Dr. Nari has studied your biology. Perhaps if you would review her findings." "I have reviewed them," Thane said. "Your doctor underestimates our technology. Our gravity compensators are advanced beyond your understanding. They will protect our troops adequately." Quillix leaned forward. "Perhaps a smaller test group? 5 soldiers instead of 50. Thane's eyes swiveled toward the ambassador. "With respect, Ambassador, military decisions are mine to make. 50 soldiers is the standard garrison for first contact. I will not deviate from protocol based on primitive fears." Primitive. There was that word again. Jiho felt anger rise in his chest but pushed it down. Getting angry wouldn't help. When will this landing occur? Jiho asked. Tomorrow. Your soul has agreed to provide a landing zone. Thane brought up a hologram of Earth. We will establish our garrison there. Your General Doyen has prepared the site. Once our troops are safely on the ground and protocols are established, we can proceed with formal integration talks. Nari tried one more time. Commander, please. At least let us start with one soldier. Just one. Let us prove that Earth's gravity is dangerous for your species. Thane's voice turned cold. Doctor, are you suggesting we endanger a single soldier alone rather than protect 50 soldiers together? Your logic is flawed. This discussion is over. Prepare your landing zone. We descend at dawn. The commander left the hall. Other coalition members followed, some casting curious glances at the two humans. Soon only Jiho and Nari remained. They won't listen, Nari said quietly. No, Jiho agreed. They won't. People are going to die tomorrow. Jiho nodded slowly. I know. That night Jiho couldn't sleep. He floated in the quarters assigned to him, the low gravity of the ship making rest impossible. He was used to Earth's pull, the constant weight of his own body. Here everything felt wrong. Too light, too easy. He thought about the Velrith soldiers preparing for their descent. Did they know what waited for them? Did they understand that Earth's gentle blue appearance hid a crushing force that had shaped humanity into what it was? Humans had evolved under that pressure. Every day from birth to death, gravity pulled at them. It made their bones dense, their muscles strong, their hearts powerful pumps pushing blood through bodies fighting constant resistance. Humans didn't think about it because they never knew anything else, but these aliens, these delicate creatures from gentle worlds, were about to learn a harsh lesson. Jiho pulled up a video feed from Earth. General Doyen's team had set up the landing zone. Medical teams stood ready. Ambulances waited in rows. The general himself had insisted on massive medical preparation. Even though Thane had called it insulting, Doyen knew. The old general had read Nari's reports and understood. He couldn't stop the landing, but he could try to save whoever survived it. As dawn approached on Earth, Jiho watched the Velrith dropship prepare for launch. 50 soldiers boarded the craft in their armor and exoskeletons. They moved with confidence, warriors who had seen 100 battles. None of them had ever fought gravity itself. The dropship detached from the embassy ship and began its descent. Jiho watched it disappear into Earth's atmosphere, a bright streak against the blue sky. May your gods protect you, Jiho whispered in Korean, because nothing else will. The ship vanished from view, heading toward Seoul, toward Earth, toward a gravity that had never encountered being so fragile. Jiho closed his eyes and waited for the screaming to begin. General Doyen stood at the edge of the landing zone and checked his watch. 3 minutes until the Velrith dropship arrived. Around him, his soldiers waited in formation. Nobody spoke. Everyone knew this was going to be bad. Hana ran final checks on her medical equipment. She had 20 ambulances ready, a mobile hospital set up in converted hangars, and every trauma specialist in Seoul on standby. When she had asked how many casualties to prepare for, Doyen had said simply, all of them. Sumin, the youngest medic on the team, stood beside Hana. The young woman kept glancing at the sky, nervous energy making her shift from foot to foot. Have you ever treated an alien before? Sumin asked. No, Hana admitted. Nobody has. We don't even know if our medicine will work on them. Then why are we here? Hana looked at the younger medic. Because when they start dying, we have to try. A rumble filled the air. The Velrith dropship appeared over the horizon, its engines screaming as it fought against Earth's gravity well. The ship moved differently than human craft, wobbling, struggling, its compensators working overtime just to stay level. Doyen raised his binoculars and watched the ship descend. Even from a distance, he could see it was in trouble. The landing struts extended unevenly. The engines flared too bright, burning too much fuel. The ship hit the landing pad hard, bouncing once before settling with a groan of stressed metal. Silence fell over the landing zone. Nothing happened for a full minute. Then 2 minutes. The dropship's main door remained closed. Something's wrong already, Doyen muttered. They can't even open the door. Inside the dropship, squad leader Kenth felt his world compressing. The gravity compensator in his exosuit was screaming warnings in his ear. Red lights flashed across his vision. The suit's servos whined with effort just to keep him upright. "Sound off," he ordered his squad. Responses came back, but all his soldiers reported the same thing. Compensator strain. Servo overload. Difficulty breathing. Kent felt it too. His body felt heavy, like someone had filled his veins with lead. His compound eyes ached with pressure. "We're still in the ship," he reminded himself. "The ship has its own gravity field. We're not even in full Earth gravity yet." That thought terrified him. "Command, this is Squad Leader Kent," he spoke into his communicator. "Requesting permission to abort landing." "Repeat, requesting abort." Commander Thane's voice crackled back from orbit. "Negative. Proceed with landing protocol. Exit the vehicle and establish perimeter." "Sir, with respect, my suit is barely keeping me alive and we haven't even—" "That is an order, Squad Leader." Kent looked at his soldiers. 50 Velrith warriors, the best of the best, and every single one of them looked terrified. He had fought in zero-gravity boarding actions. He had led charges on hostile stations. He had never seen his soldiers afraid before. "Open the door," he ordered. The ramp lowered with a hydraulic hiss. Sunlight streamed in along with something else. Something invisible. Something that pressed down on Kent like an ocean of weight. Earth's gravity. Full. Unfiltered. Crushing. Kent took the first step onto the ramp. His compensator shrieked in alarm and died. Just died. The sudden weight drove him to his knees. He felt his bones creak. His organs shifted inside his body, pressing downward, pulled by a force his species had never evolved to handle. Then his eyes exploded. The pressure was too much. His compound eyes, delicate things designed for low-gravity worlds, couldn't handle their own internal fluids being pulled down with such force. They ruptured outward in a spray of biological matter. Kent screamed. The sound was horrible, alien, full of agony that transcended language. He collapsed on the ramp, his body convulsing. Behind him, other soldiers surged forward to help him. 3 more stepped onto the ramp. 3 more felt the full weight of Earth. 3 more went down, their bodies failing in different ways. One soldier's exoskeleton shattered, its servos burning out in sparks. Without support, his bones cracked under his own weight. Another's breathing sacs collapsed, unable to process air under such pressure. The third simply fell and didn't move, his internal organs rupturing all at once. Panic spread through the dropship. Soldiers scrambled backward, away from the ramp, away from the terrible gravity beyond. But the ship's own compensators were failing too. The generators couldn't maintain a safe field against Earth's constant pull. More soldiers fell where they stood, inside the supposed safety of the dropship. 12. 15. 20. Their suits fought to keep them alive, but the suits were designed for combat, not for surviving a planet that pulled like a small star. Outside, Doyen watched the nightmare unfold. Bodies littered the ramp. Alien screams filled the air. He wanted to order his medics forward, but what could they do? How could humans help when the enemy was gravity itself? "Medical teams forward," Hana shouted, not waiting for orders. She grabbed her kit and ran toward the dropship. Suman and a dozen others followed. They reached the first fallen soldier. Kent. His face was ruined, his eyes gone, blue blood pooling around his head. But he was still breathing. Barely. "Don't move," Hana told him, though she knew he probably couldn't understand. She looked at his suit's display. The compensator was dead. If they moved him without support, his body would collapse further under its own weight. Suman reached another soldier, one whose exoskeleton had shattered. "What do I do?" she called out. "He's too heavy." "I can't lift him." "Don't lift!" Hana shouted back. "Stabilize where they are. We need to keep them horizontal. Gravity is pulling everything down inside their bodies. If we stand them up, they'll die." More medics arrived. They worked frantically, but it was like trying to stop a flood with their hands. The injuries weren't from weapons or trauma they understood. The injuries were from existence itself, from simply being on Earth. Inside the dropship, the remaining soldiers huddled in the back corner where the ship's compensators still barely functioned. 38 were down. 12 remained conscious. They stared at their fallen comrades in horror. "We can't stay here," one soldier said. "The ship's generators are failing." "We can't go out there," another replied. "Did you see what happened to Kent?" "Did you see?" The ship's power flickered. The gravity compensator dimmed. The 12 remaining soldiers felt Earth's pull increase. One by one, they laid down flat on the floor, spreading their weight, trying desperately to survive. Doyen watched Hana and her team work. They had managed to stabilize 6 soldiers, keeping them alive through sheer determination and improvisation. But 32 were already dead. 32 coalition soldiers killed by nothing more than standing on a planet's surface. His communicator crackled. It was Jiho calling from the embassy ship. "General, what's your status?" Doyen looked at the scene before him. The broken dropship, the dead and dying aliens, his medics fighting to save creatures whose biology couldn't survive his world. "We have 32 dead, 6 critical, 12 trapped inside the ship," he reported. "Jiho, they never had a chance. Not even for a second." There was silence on the other end. Then Jiho's voice, quiet and sad. "I know. We tried to warn them. What do I tell my medics? They're trying to save these soldiers, but gravity doesn't stop. Every second they're here, it's killing them." "Tell them to do what they can," Jiho said, "and prepare for the Coalition's response. When Commander Thane sees this, when the galaxy sees that Earth killed 50 of their best soldiers without firing a shot, everything changes." Doyen understood. The landing wasn't just a failure. It was a declaration. Earth had just proven itself to be something the Coalition had never encountered before. A fortress world. Unconquerable. Deadly simply by existing. Hana looked up at the sky, at the stars beyond where the Coalition watched. She knelt beside an alien soldier who was dying despite her best efforts. His suit displayed vital signs she barely understood, all of them dropping. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm sorry your leader sent you here." The soldier's breathing stopped. Another death. Another casualty of hubris and ignorance. Suman sat back exhausted. "We can't save them, not here. Not on Earth." "I know," Hana said. "But we have to try. Because when this is over, when the Coalition decides what to do about us, they need to know we tried. They need to know we're not monsters." She looked at the embassy ship, invisible in orbit above. "Even if our gravity is." Nari stood in the emergency medical facility and studied the data with growing horror. Around her, human doctors worked alongside Counselor Vex, the Coalition's chief scientist, trying to keep 6 Velrith soldiers alive. The other 6 survivors remained in their dropship, afraid to move. "Look at this," Vex said, pointing to a display. The aliens' tentacles trembled with distress. Their circulatory system evolved for 0.4 gravity. On Earth, their hearts can't pump blood upward against the pull. Everything pools in their lower bodies. Their brains are starving. "Can we increase their blood pressure?" Nari asked. "Give them medication?" "We tried. Their hearts can't handle the strain. If we push any harder, the hearts will rupture." Vex's eye stalks drooped. "They're dying, Dr. Nari, slowly, just from lying here breathing." One of the soldiers on a medical bed made a gurgling sound. Alarms blared. Human doctors rushed over, but there was nothing they could do. The soldier's body had simply given up, crushed by a force it was never meant to endure. The alarms went silent. 5 left. Nari excused herself and walked to a conference room where Taeyang waited. The astrophysicist had been analyzing Earth's properties compared to Coalition worlds. His findings were disturbing. "Tell me," Nari said, sitting down heavily. Taeyang brought up a holographic display showing dozens of planets. "The average Coalition homeworld has 0.4 gravity. The highest is 0.6. Earth has 1.0 gravity." He highlighted Earth in red. "We're not just above average. We're 3 times the standard. We're off the charts. Why?" Nari asked. "Why is Earth so different? Dense metallic core, high planetary mass. We basically won the worst possible lottery when our planet formed." Taeyang pulled up more data. "But here's what's interesting. This gravity shaped everything about us. Our bones are dense. Our muscles are powerful. Our hearts are incredibly strong pumps. Every single day of our lives we've been doing resistance training just by existing." Nari thought about it. Carrying her own body weight, standing, walking, climbing stairs. Things she never thought about were actually constant exercise against Earth's crushing pull. "What about them?" she asked, pointing to images of Coalition species. "They're optimized for their environments, light bones to save energy, efficient but delicate circulatory systems. They never needed the robust biology we have because their worlds never demanded it." Taeyang's expression grew serious. "Nari, do you understand what this means militarily? Tell me. Earth is unconquerable. Any invasion force dies on landing. They can't adapt, can't compensate. Their technology isn't built for sustained exposure to our gravity." He paused. We're a fortress world, Nari, completely by accident. Meanwhile, on the embassy ship, Jiho sat in an emergency session with coalition leaders. The mood was tense. Angry. On the main screen, footage of the landing played on repeat. The exploding eyes, the collapsing bodies. The screaming Ambassador Quillick spoke carefully. The humans warned us. We did not listen. This tragedy is our fault. No, a voice boomed. It was Counselor Drex, a hardliner from the military faction. His species looked like armored beetles, though even they came from a low-gravity world. This tragedy proves humans are dangerous. They live in conditions that kill our soldiers. They are gravitational extremophiles. Monsters adapted to a hell world. We're not monsters, Jiho said quietly. We're just people who evolved on a heavy planet. You cannot leave that planet, Drex continued. Your biology is suited only for high gravity. You would be weak in normal space, helpless. You should stay on Earth where you belong. Jiho felt anger rise but kept his voice calm. Is that the Coalition's official position? That we should be quarantined? Quillix raised a hand. No decision has been made. We are still gathering information. Then gather this information, Jiho said. He pulled up Nari's medical reports. Your soldiers are dying because we didn't want to prove we were dangerous. We begged you not to land. We warned you. You called us primitive and ignored us. He stared at Drex. If we were monsters, we would have let all 50 die. Instead, our doctors are fighting to save your people with everything we have. Sentiment, Drex growled. You save them to appear civilized. We save them because life matters, Jiho shot back. Even when that life belongs to someone who called us primitives. The council chamber erupted in argument. Different species shouted in different languages. Jiho watched it all and realized with sinking certainty that this wasn't going to end peacefully. Yuna entered the chamber then, the military strategist moving with purpose. She had been analyzing tactical data, and her face was grim. She approached Jiho and whispered urgently, We have a problem. I intercepted communications from the military faction. They're gathering a fleet. Jiho's blood went cold. What kind of fleet? The kind that bombards planets from orbit, Yuna said. They're planning to destroy Earth, Jiho. If they can't land on our world, they'll eliminate the threat from space. When? Ships are moving into position now. Maybe 12 hours before they're in range. Jiho looked at the arguing council members. None of them knew. Or maybe some did and weren't saying anything. He needed to contact Earth immediately. He left the chamber and rushed to communications. He called General Doyen directly. General, we have incoming hostiles. The Coalition military faction is bringing ships to Earth. They plan orbital bombardment. Doyen's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, medics still worked on dying aliens. How long do we have? 12 hours. Maybe less. Can you stop them politically? I don't think so. The council is fractured. Half think we're victims. Half think we're too dangerous to exist. Jiho ran a hand through his hair. General, we need to show them we're not helpless. We need to prove Earth can defend itself. Against a space fleet? Jiho, we have experimental fighters and defense satellites. Nothing designed for full-scale naval combat. Then we improvise, because if we don't, they'll reduce our planet to ash. Back in the medical facility, Nari received an urgent message from Jiho explaining the situation. She looked at Counselor Vex, who was monitoring one of the dying soldiers. Vex, you need to know something, Nari said. Your military faction is planning to attack Earth. The aliens' eye stalks shot up in alarm. What? No, that violates every coalition law. We don't destroy inhabited worlds. You're destroying one now. They're calling it a preemptive strike against a dangerous species. Vex was silent for a long moment, processing. Then the scientist made a decision. I will testify against this. I will tell the council that humans are not the threat. Fear is the threat. Ignorance is the threat. Will they listen? I don't know, Vex admitted. But I must try. Another alarm sounded. Another soldier dying. 4 left now. Nari watched the medics work and felt hopelessness creep in. They were trying so hard to save alien lives, and the aliens were coming to destroy theirs. The irony was bitter. Taeyang called her. Nari, I've been thinking. If they attack Earth, they'll come in ships designed for low-gravity species, right? Yes, why? What if we're not weak in space? What if we're strong? Taeyang's eyes were bright with a wild idea. They think we can't leave Earth because we need high gravity. But what if it's the opposite? What if living in high gravity made us able to handle anything? Nari understood. You mean we're adapted to the worst conditions? Anything less would be easy. Exactly. Their ships maintain .3 gravity because that's comfortable for them. But for us, that would be like being on the moon. We'd be incredibly strong in their environment. We need to test this, Nari said. We don't have time for tests. The fleet is coming, Nari thought fast. Then we tell Jiho, we tell Doyen, we tell everyone. Earth's gravity isn't our prison. It's our training ground. She sent the message to Jiho, knowing it would reach Earth's leadership. She didn't know if it would help. She didn't know if anything could help against a fleet of warships, but she knew one thing. Humanity had survived on a world that killed aliens just by existing. If there was any species in the galaxy that could turn disadvantage into advantage, it was humans. The Coalition had tested Earth's gravity. Now it was time to test what Earth's gravity had created. The fleet was coming, and humanity would be ready. Hyunwoo sat in the cockpit of his fighter and watched the Coalition fleet approach. 23 warships, each one massive compared to Earth's experimental craft. They moved in formation, confident and unstoppable. Taguk Squadron status check, he spoke into his comm. 5 voices answered. 6 fighters total against 23 warships. The odds were laughable. But Hyunwoo had read Nari's report. He understood what Earth's gravity had made them. They think we're weak, he told his squadron. They think we can't fight in space because we come from a heavy world. Let's show them what growing up in crushing gravity really means. The Coalition fleet opened communications. Admiral Corzin's face appeared on every screen, his features sharp and cruel. Humans of Earth, you have been deemed a threat to galactic peace. Your world breeds warriors too dangerous to integrate. We will neutralize this threat with precision strikes on your major cities. Surrender now and evacuate to designated areas. Resistance will result in total planetary destruction. Hyunwoo muted the transmission and spoke to his squadron. Remember your training. Their ships are designed for .3 gravity. They can't handle the acceleration we can. They can't turn like we can. They're flying museums compared to us. He opened a channel to Earth Command. General Doyen's voice came through. Hyunwoo, you're cleared for engagement. Make them regret coming here. Yes, sir. Hyunwoo pushed his fighter's throttle forward. The acceleration hit him hard, pressing him back into his seat. 3 Gs, 4, 5. His vision narrowed at the edges, but his body held. Every day of his life spent fighting Earth's gravity had prepared him for this. Behind him, his squadron matched his acceleration. They moved like missiles, faster than anything the Coalition had ever seen from a manned fighter. On the flagship, Admiral Corzin watched in disbelief as the human fighters accelerated. His sensors showed impossible numbers. 5 gravity acceleration? That's not possible. Those pilots should be unconscious. Sir, they're still accelerating, his tactical officer reported. 6 gravities now, 7. They're going to kill themselves, Corzin said, but the humans didn't die. They curved around the fleet in a sweeping arc, moving with precision that made Coalition pilots look like students. Hyunwoo locked onto the nearest warship and fired. The missiles were simple compared to Coalition weapons. But they were fast, brutally fast, designed by engineers who understood that if you build on a high-gravity world, your rockets have to be powerful just to reach orbit. The warship's defensive systems tried to respond, but they were too slow. The missiles hit, tearing into the hull. Explosions blossomed across the ship's side. All fighters, weapons free, Hyunwoo ordered. Show them what Earth builds. The 6 human fighters tore through the Coalition formation like sharks through fish. They pulled maneuvers that should have been impossible. 10G turns, 15. The pilots gritted their teeth and endured, their bodies screaming but holding together. Coalition pilots tried to follow and failed. Their compensators couldn't protect them from such extreme forces. 2 alien pilots passed out trying to match a human turn. Their ships spun out of control, colliding with each other. But the real surprise was still coming. Yoonji led her boarding team toward the Coalition flagship. Her team consisted of 12 Korean Special Forces soldiers in minimal protective gear. They rode in a small transport, nothing fancy, just enough to get them close. Remember, she told her team, their ships have .3 gravity. Everything you can lift on Earth, you can lift 3 times as much up here. Everything you can do on Earth, you can do 3 times better. You're not soldiers anymore. You're superheroes. They breached the flagship's hull with cutting charges. The Coalition crew inside felt the explosion and rushed to respond. Security forces took positions, weapons ready. The airlock opened. Yoonji stepped through and leaped. In .3 gravity, her legs, trained under Earth's crushing pull, launched her across the entire corridor. She flew like something from a fantasy movie, covering 10 meters in a single bound. She landed behind the security forces before they could even turn around. Her team followed. 12 humans moving with impossible speed and strength. One soldier grabbed a support beam and bent it, tearing it loose with his bare hands. On Earth, it would have been immovable. Here it was nothing. The Coalition security forces opened fire. Energy weapons flashed. But the humans were too fast. They dodged, rolled, moved in ways the aliens couldn't predict. Every muscle fiber in their bodies was designed for fighting against gravity 3 times stronger than this. Yunji reached the first alien soldier and simply pushed. On Earth, it would have been a gentle shove. Here, the alien flew backward 5 meters and hit the wall hard enough to crack his exoskeleton. "Don't kill them," Yunji ordered. "Disable and move." Her team swept through the ship like a storm. They didn't need heavy weapons. Their bodies were heavy weapons. Doors the aliens needed machines to open. Humans ripped open with their hands. Corridors that took aliens minutes to traverse. Humans crossed in seconds. On the bridge, Admiral Corson watched his security feeds with growing horror. The humans were monsters. No, worse than monsters. They were natural, moving in the low gravity like it was their element, like they belonged here more than the Coalition did. "Seal the bridge," he ordered. "Seal everything. Lock them out." But Yunji's team reached the bridge door in under 3 minutes. One of her soldiers placed a small charge. The explosion was minor, just enough to damage the lock. Then the soldier grabbed the door with both hands and pulled. The reinforced door, designed to withstand combat damage, tore open like paper. Yunji stepped onto the bridge. Every alien present raised their weapons. She raised her empty hands. "Admiral Corson, I'm here to offer terms of surrender." The Admiral stared at her. "You're offering me surrender? You have 12 soldiers. I have a fleet." "Had a fleet," Yunji corrected. She gestured to the main screen, which showed the battle outside. Hyunwoo's squadron had disabled 8 warships. The others were retreating, unable to fight opponents who could outfly, outturn, and out-accelerate them. "Your soldiers are everywhere on my ship," Corson said, his voice shaking. How are you so strong?" "We're not strong, Admiral. You're weak. You evolved on gentle worlds where gravity barely pulled at you. We evolved on Earth." Yunji's expression was hard. "Every single day of our lives, we wake up and fight against a force that would kill your soldiers in minutes. We don't think about it because we don't know anything else, but it made us what we are." She stepped closer. "You came to destroy us because you were afraid. You thought we were trapped on our heavy world, but you were wrong. Earth didn't trap us. Earth trained us. For space, for war, for exactly this." More of her team entered the bridge, moving with casual ease that terrified the alien crew. One soldier casually lifted a console that would have taken 4 Coalition members to move. He set it down gently, making a point. "What do you want?" Corson asked. "Call off your attack. Order your fleet to withdraw. And understand this, Admiral." Yunji's voice went cold. "We didn't want this fight. We wanted peace. You forced us to show you what we're capable of. Remember that. Remember that humans tried to warn you, tried to save your soldiers, tried to avoid violence. You chose this." Corson looked at his crew. They were terrified. He looked at the battle display. His fleet was broken. He looked at the human woman who had crossed his bridge in 3 steps, who could probably tear him apart with her bare hands if she wanted to. He opened communications to all ships. "This is Admiral Corson. All forces, cease fire. Retreat to minimum safe distance." "Stand down," Yunji nodded. Smart choice. Back in space, Hyunwoo watched the Coalition fleet pull back. His squadron had lost no one. They had disabled 8 warships and forced the surrender of the flagship. 6 fighters against 23 warships. Taeguk Squadron, return to base, he ordered. Mission accomplished. As they flew back toward Earth, Hyunwoo looked at his home planet. The blue and green sphere that had seemed so peaceful from space. Now the Coalition knew the truth. That peaceful planet was a forge, and humanity was what it had forged. Strong, resilient, unstoppable. The galaxy had tested Earth's gravity and found it deadly. Now they had tested Earth's children and found them terrifying. Coalition wouldn't make that mistake again. The Coalition Council chamber was silent. Representatives from 47 species watched the main screen, where Jiho and Nari stood side by side. Behind them, holographic displays showed everything. the landing disaster, the battle, the boarding of the flagship, the truth about what Earth's gravity had created. Ambassador Quillix spoke first, his voice gentle. Humans of Earth, the Council has reviewed all evidence. We owe you an apology. We did not listen when you warned us. We called you primitive when you were trying to save our soldiers. Apologies don't bring back the dead, Counselor Drex interrupted. 32 soldiers died on that landing. 8 warships were disabled. The flagship was boarded and captured. These humans have proven exactly what I said. They are too dangerous. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Fear was visible on many alien faces. They had seen humans tear through security forces like they were nothing. They had watched human pilots perform maneuvers that killed coalition flyers. Jiho raised a hand, asking for silence. He got it. You're right to be afraid, he said simply. We are dangerous. We come from a world that crushes your soldiers just by existing. In your low-gravity environments, we have strength and speed you can't match. These are facts. Then you admit you're a threat, Drex said. No. I admit we have capability. Capability is not the same as threat. Jiho gestured to Nari. Dr. Nari, please explain. Nari stepped forward and brought up medical data. During the landing disaster, my team fought desperately to save Velrith soldiers. We didn't have to. We could have let all 50 die and used it as proof that Earth was unconquerable. Instead, we saved 6. We're still keeping them alive right now in Seoul with round-the-clock care. She pulled up more images. Human medics working alongside alien doctors. Equipment being shared. Knowledge being exchanged. We learned something important while treating your soldiers, Nari continued. Human medicine, developed for high-gravity injuries and dense biological systems, is revolutionary for coalition species. Our techniques for managing blood pressure, supporting organs, treating bone injuries, they all apply to your people in ways we never imagined. Counselor Vex spoke up from the audience. Dr. Nari is correct. I have been studying human medical technology for the past week. It is extraordinary. Humans deal routinely with conditions we consider catastrophic. Their solutions could save millions of coalition lives. Medical technology, Drex scoffed. They're trying to distract from their military capabilities. No, Jiho said firmly. We're trying to show you that capability can be used for more than war. Yes, our gravity made us strong, but it also made us innovative. Every problem we solve has applications beyond Earth. Taeyang appeared on a secondary screen, calling in from Earth. May I address the council? Quillix nodded permission. I'm Taeyang, astrophysicist. I've been studying comparative planetary data. Earth is unique in known space for its high gravity, yes. But that also means we're uniquely positioned to help the Coalition explore and settle other high-gravity worlds. He brought up star maps. There are hundreds of planets in Coalition space that you can't colonize because the gravity is too high. 0.7, 0.8, 1.0 or more. Worlds rich in resources but impossible for you to access. What are you proposing? Another counselor asked. Cooperation. Humans can work on those worlds. We can establish settlements, extract resources, conduct research. Places you can never go, we can thrive. In exchange, you help us with low-gravity engineering, space station construction, and the thousands of technologies you've mastered that we're still learning. Suman appeared on another screen. The young medic looked nervous but determined. I want to say something. I treated dying soldiers on the landing pad. I held their hands while they died. I didn't speak their language and they didn't speak mine, but pain is universal. Fear is universal. She paused, gathering her courage. Those soldiers didn't deserve to die. They were following orders from leaders who didn't understand Earth. Just like our leaders didn't fully understand what would happen. Everyone made mistakes. But the difference is, we're willing to learn from ours. Are you? The chamber was quiet. Suman's words hung in the air. Hana joined the transmission. I run the medical facility keeping your 6 surviving soldiers alive. I want to make a proposal. Let us train Coalition medics in human techniques. Let us share our knowledge freely, and in return, teach us about your biology so we can help you better. Make Earth a medical research hub. Let our heavy world be a place of healing, not just war. General Doyen appeared next. The Korean military proposes something radical. We want to offer human peacekeeping forces to the Coalition, not as conquerors, as protectors. There will be conflicts on high-gravity worlds, places your security forces can't operate. We can. Let us be the ones who step in to stop violence, to protect civilians, to maintain peace in environments you can't reach. Admiral Corson, still aboard his captured flagship, spoke up. I can verify that humans are effective peacekeepers. They boarded my ship and disabled my entire security force without killing a single crew member. They had every right to destroy us. We came to destroy them. But they chose restraint. That choice matters. Yunji appeared on screen from the flagship's bridge. I'm Special Forces Lieutenant Yunji. I led the boarding team. I want the Council to know something. When we entered this ship, we were terrified. Not of you, of ourselves. Of what we might become if we gave in to anger. Your fleet came to destroy our families, our homes. We had every reason to hate you. She gestured to the alien crew working around her. No longer prisoners, but partners repairing their own ship. But we chose something else. We chose to show you that strength without wisdom is just brutality. Earth's gravity made us strong, but our humanity, our choice to value life, that's what makes us worthy partners. The council members looked at each other. Whispered conversations broke out. Jiho watched and waited, hoping he had done enough. Finally, Ambassador Quillick stood. The council will vote. All in favor of accepting Earth as a full partner in the Galactic Coalition, with special status as medical research hub and peacekeeping force for high-gravity environments? Hands, tentacles, stalks, and appendages rose across the chamber, slowly at first, then more. Even Drex, reluctant and scowling, raised one armored limb. Unanimous, Quillix announced. Welcome to the Coalition, people of Earth. 3 years later, Yuna floated through the corridors of the exploration vessel Harmony's Hope. She was the captain now, commanding a mixed crew of humans and aliens. Her second in command was a recovered Velrith soldier named Kenth, the same one whose eyes had exploded during the landing. Human medicine had saved him, given him prosthetic eyes that worked even better than his originals. Captain, we're approaching the target world, Kenth reported. Gravity reads at 0.9, slightly less than Earth. Perfect, Yuna said. That means my team can work there easily, and yours can visit with heavy compensators for short periods. A true mixed operation. The ship entered orbit around a beautiful world, untouched and full of resources. In the past, the Coalition would have ignored it. Too heavy, too dangerous. But now they had humans. Now the impossible was possible. Jiho watched the mission from Earth, from the same spot where he had first looked up at the alien embassy ship. Nari worked beside him, training another class of xenobiologists. The students were both human and alien, learning from each other. Do you ever regret it? Nari asked. That first contact went so badly? Every day I regret those deaths, Jiho said honestly. But I don't regret what came after. We proved something important. That being powerful doesn't mean being destructive. That we can choose cooperation over conquest, Nari smiled. Earth's gravity tested them. Their response tested us. And somehow we both passed. On the exploration ship, Yuna prepared her team for landing. Humans and aliens working together, each bringing their unique strengths. The galaxy was bigger than anyone had known. There were worlds to explore, lives to save, peace to maintain. And Earth, the fortress world, the heavy planet that had seemed like a prison, had become something else entirely. A foundation, a training ground, a gift. The galaxy had tested Earth's gravity and learned it was deadly, but Earth had tested itself and learned it was merciful, and that made all the difference.